Welcome to the MTS Setting an Application tutorial for the OW100 devices such as Orthogold 100, Dermagold 100, and Eurogold 100. 1. Starting the device. Flip the main switch to turn on the device and wait until the small light stops flashing. Then, press the yellow confirmation button and hold for 2 seconds. While the device is booting, it displays a start screen giving information about the current progress and software version. As soon as the operating screen appears, it can be continued. 2. The operating screen. The operating screen gives you all information needed for treatment. The 4 bars at the top define the treatment parameters. Those will be described in the next chapter. The amount of shocks and the total applied energy of this session is displayed at the bottom left corner. It can be reset by the button on the right, which should be done after every treatment. The button called Setup brings you to the Setup menu, which will be presented in more detail later. The bottom right corner contains information about the connected applicator, as well as the buttons for filling and draining it. The type of applicator is written inside the frame, while the number of shocks remaining until refurbishment is shown graphically and numerically beneath it. 3. The treatment parameters. To gain an insight on the adjustable treatment parameters, take a close look at these 4 bars at the top of the operating screen. They can be set in 3 different ways. 1. Rotating the touch wheel. 2. Swiping horizontally across the bars. Or 3. Pressing the left and right arrows. To change a parameter, it needs to be enabled, highlighted with a gray background. You can switch between the parameter bars by selecting another one on the left side. There are 4 treatment parameters that can be varied. To find the right setting for your indication, please consult the official user guide. The top bar refers to the energy force. The amount of energy can be displayed in levels 1 to 16, energy flux density in millijoules or square millimeters, or total energy in millijoules, which can be chosen in the Setup menu. The second bar can change the frequency which controls the time lag between consecutive shocks. To define a total number of shocks for this session, use the third bar labeled Interval. The device will automatically stop if this number of shocks has been released. The bottom bar can vary the pressure of the applicator's water membrane, which changes the penetration depth to make the device suitable for many different indications. As you move the bar, you will see and hear the water membrane expanding and retracting. 4. The Setup screen. To get into the Setup menu, press the Setup button on the operating screen. See also Chapter 2. The language of all menus can be changed with the first bar to English, German, Italian, or Spanish. The second bar can alter the screen lighting from low to high brightness in 10 degrees. The amount of energy can be displayed in levels 1 to 16, energy flux density in millijoules or square millimeters, or total energy millijoules, which can be set with the third bar. Use the bottom bar for setting the date and time format. This menu can only be operated using the arrows or the touch wheel. Swiping only works with the brightness bar. The frame at the bottom left shows again the connected applicator, as well as the serial number, installed software version, and total number of shocks released with this device. Right next to it in the center, you can find the place to adjust date and time. In addition, you can find the particular buttons for ejecting either the applicator or water cartridge at the bottom right of this menu. Press back to return to the operating screen. 5. Filling the applicator. The applicator needs to be filled for treatment, which can be done by pressing the corresponding button. The button will turn from gray to white and will not change back until the filling process is completed. Please hold the applicator upside down and as low as possible during the entire procedure. 6. Functional testing. Release some shocks without skin contact by pushing the button on the applicator or by pressing the foot switch. If there are air bubbles inside the applicator's water membrane, it's absolutely necessary to continue with step number 7. 7. Removing air bubbles. Before treatment starts, make sure there are no air bubbles inside the applicator's water membrane. To remove air bubbles, turn the applicator upside down and either knock it gently against your hand or release some shocks. As soon as all air bubbles have disappeared, the treatment can be started. 8. Applying ultrasound gel. Shockwave treatment is only effective if there is liquid between the applicator and the skin. Therefore, we use ultrasound gel, which can be applied directly to the water membrane. For treatment of wounds, we recommend putting sterile ultrasound gel directly on the wound, then covering it with sterile foil, and using standard ultrasound gel directly on the applicator as usual. 9. Starting application. Please check the user guide if all preparations have been made correctly. After treatment parameters have been set and the ultrasound gel has been applied, the application can be started. Release shock waves by pressing the button on the applicator or the foot switch. The applicator, and especially the water membrane, must be disinfected after every treatment. You can use any inorganic and inflammable disinfectant. 10. Draining the applicator. The applicator should be drained if you want to shut down the device after treatment. Just press the corresponding button, which will not turn back from gray to white until the draining process is finished. To ensure complete drainage, raise the applicator as high as possible during the entire procedure. You can find further information in our instructions for use. If you encounter any problems, please contact your local dealer or MTS Service Center.